evening, everybody. Welcome to the FCAPT. And as Colonel Tim Johns, our guest of the so clearly said, where is Steve? I don't know, unfortunately.
Did somebody finally open the airlock?
He's not on comms, and sensors say he's not on board the ship, so kind of don't know. Maybe those aliens took him, the ones that take you in your sleep.
Yeah.
We are also joined tonight by Fleet Captain John Hardy of the USS Essex and Lieutenant Commander Gregg Kleiner of the USS Dauntless. We have the Region 3 Regional Coordinator jumping in here at some point in the near future when I don't know, he's probably looking for gin or scotch somewhere. I don't know. That's usually our Regional Coordinator. So how has it been the last week? This is my first time in the saddle for a while, so.
I've been good. Since Sunday, we got a new cat. Take up a lot of my time. That's about it.
New cat? Are you sure that's a good thing?
Well, new to us. We got a pet, basically.
I'm getting one tomorrow, so I mean.
Hey there, Shane. Hey, Fran. Hey there, John. Yeah, happy Thursday. Yeah. One day more. That's all I got to say about it. My day was terrible.
Hopefully, John Valjean.
But yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks here in Texas. I don't know. Some people are like freaking out about the vaccine, and it's kind of hilarious listening to them. And then other people are like, "Oh, I'm going to take the vaccine," which is good. So, I have not been able to take it because I'm not in the first scheduled client or whatever the heck. I'll be like the last person probably to get it.
Actually, I just saw somebody from your state just today, though, too. Jim Landelis was driving through the area, and I met up with him.
Yeah, Jim gets around.
I wouldn't say that to him. I mean, rephrase that a little bit.
He's a man. He's a man of the Lord. I mean, he knows. But no, he travels quite a bit.
So. It was coming through, so I got him all the Reach of 12 stuff that I had in my possession. So. I wonder what could be said for the entire nation. Yes, that Jim, Shane.
Apparently the shot hurts.
Well, it hurts like that.
It hurts like any other shot. I mean, my brother and sister are nurses, and they got it.
One moment.
That's probably Steve's ringtone. Did you forget we're doing After Dark tonight?
Well, since they said that aliens took Steve, hey, Steve.
You're suggesting that Steve would be able to feel the probe.
Wow, you even went beyond what I would do, though, but okay.
Russell, please tell me that was Steve's ringtone.
That's just my ringtone in general.
Oh, damn. I was going to be like, if that's fucking Steve's ringtone, I'd die.
No. No, that's a regular one. It was Steve. Apparently, he canceled for tonight because he has a migraine and he's going on to a 6-day straight shift. So he's going to get some sleep.
Oh, he must be still adjusting.
That's possible. Yeah. He's in Kentucky. They don't know what GPS is there. Well, in his part of Kentucky, they might not.
To them.
Yeah, there's a GPS back in those. What they do? They just put a giant flag on your you know how when you go into a grocery store, little kid carts, they got the big flag.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you do.
No, the perfect way to explain that, because I did this at a wrestling show before where we're out backstage, outside the building in the back. We yelled across the street to this apartment complex. This old man sitting on a chair on his porch. Where are the strip clubs at? And he gave directions turn by turn. Like, okay, that's how you do GPS over in Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, works. It works.
Not that I was going to go to a place that an old man on a porch was going to tell me where to go. So
I would say no to that, Shane. That's probably not a good idea, being that he has a migraine. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Aww,
Normally, I would be the smart ass to do that, and I would put his number up, but I'm not going to do that this time. So.
How would you give him an onion, but when you have it? You know? Oh, okay. Good. That's good. Remember, there are some people in this organization that take things like that literally.
Some.
Yes. I'm in a pretty bright room, Carol.
I'm not bright, but I mean, there's light in the room.
I was gonna say I have like my 2 lights on in my bedroom, Carol.
John has a light on because if he puts on any more, he might turn into ash.
I like Jerry Teen's comment there.
Oh, like the one from Ferris Bueller's?
Yep. If I had the money in my account, I'd do it right now.
Fair. Just get Carol on camera. She'll put us into place.
So we will actually talk Starfleet business. Anybody wants to add some stuff?
I'm trying
Jeremy,
to think.
is your video still running in Discord?
I'm trying
It
to
might
think.
be. I don't know. It's been a really pain in the ass right now.
Yeah, mine was too.
Trying to think if there's anything new fleet business wide. I mean, I know that there's going to be a new Academy catalog coming out in the next couple of days. I know Carol's been working on that. I know people have been asking for that.
Yeah, as far as that goes. Oh, Jeremy's up and running.
Turns out I did have the hard kill Discord. Like
Yeah, so did I.
I had to Linux 9 that motherfucker like it was my job.
There we go.
If anyone understands that, you get extra points for your house.
Okay, Tim. We need some good posts. We need some good index cards tonight. You know, you got John directly above you to your left. You got Jeremy to your right.
I'll just keep moving him. So
I'm
you
very, very
can keep
centered.
track of where
As I feel right now, I feel very centered.
So maybe you can explain this, Russell, because I know there's a lot of activity this week on like non-sanctioned groups. What was going on with that?
Okay, so I'll just say it succinctly. There was a group of members operating an unofficial group. Some information about this secret unofficial group within our membership made it to the powers that be, and questions were asked. Those questions weren't answered to the appropriate degree at which they probably should have, and that said group was basically told you're not in anymore. And then the AB voted on a resolution to basically, when it comes to groups, and this means in the membership handbook, which every member should have read, there is a section that talks about groups specifically in it. It's down near the bottom, and it talks about they're under the VCS and such. And you have permanent groups like the Starfleet Marine Corps and Mako and Pet Fleet. And then you have standard or full groups, auxiliaries, that are like Frost and our Diplomatic Corps would be one. And then you have probationary, which are ones that are trying to start up something. They're trying to prove that they can serve a purpose. And then you have unofficial, which would just be groups within Starfleet that aren't really recognized by the group.
And there's plenty of opportunities for folks under that unofficial title. Like one of the more exciting ones that we've had in our own chapter is there are chapters that are Nebula class. We want to be sisters with some Nebula class. That's not counted under this. We don't give a fuck. As long as you're like open and honest about it.
Yeah.
But if you try to make a sinister, unofficial, you're not allowed to tell people about it group, then we have issues.
With what I had heard, because it came through the Region 12 thing that we had on Sunday, that it was also something that where they were being particular in who they allow into the group as well.
Right.
So, amusing you bring that up. There was a handbook. Like a PDF. Like someone went through the trouble of making a PDF. And they updated it. Like we understood, like we knew. This was some shit that's been going on for a couple of years. That's fine. And it never went anywhere. But then they updated it. And then they said that this was new and updated and applicable. With the most recent SFI courses involved, like SFDPP. Like those are literally the most modern courses we can summon.
Yeah.
And then try to tell me it's not part of SFI. Like one of those doesn't jive. So someone fucking like it.
So I'll just put it this way. The people who were involved in this group were asked, because that's how their membership worked. Instead of being like Starfleet Marine Corps, you check a box in the database or contact an MSG or an MSU or someone in the Marine Corps, say, hey, I want to be a Marine. You had to be approached. And then when you were approached, they went through a vetting process of some sort. And after that vetting process was done, you were either added into a group or not. Okay. That's basically it.
Telling issues of their manual was you were not allowed to be a member of the EC. You're not allowed to be a member of the AB. You know, the two governing bodies of the organization.
Yes. There was some specific there were some specific things in there that definitely notate out like this was a problem. To answer John's question real quick, no. This is not for that purpose. This is groups of individual members, and it says very specifically
by shuttles or runabouts or any of the things that we could do for ops. And there's actually a fair amount of history going back to where we failed in incorporating those smaller sub-chapter bits into things. And I think we should revisit that.
Yeah. I can also, with this question, I can point out one. There is one right now. There's Task Force 31. I can't remember the region it is offhand, but I know it's a small group of ships across a couple different regions, and they kind of do their own little things. But if a chapter wanted to be a part of that, I'm pretty sure it's open allowance. But it's not an auxiliary. It's not a group
Those
under
are
the
chapters
BCS.
doing what they want.
Right.
To align themselves with people they play with. That's not what we're getting at.
Or similar to like if all the groups like in the St. Louis area just forming a group just to mingle and everything like that. That's not just Region 12. It's just specific to St. Louis. That's one thing.
Go for it. Have a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know how it goes.
But let's say I wanted to start a group, and I'm going to call it the Super Secret Starfleet Marine Corps. And I make it where I can only join. You can only join if you're a current Starfleet Marine, and you had to have taken.
But also not a member of the board.
But you can't be a member of the general staff of the Starfleet Marine Corps, nor may you be an OIC or a DOIC of a unit. If I start setting all these little restrictions, yet I'm using the membership of the organization to do so, and I'm doing it privately, secretively, to keep it away from the ears of certain people, that's where you run into problems. That's
Also,
what that resolution targets.
so actually, let me borrow this if I may, Russ.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Admiralty Board are not a conglomerate of jackasses. I mean, we are. We are, in fact, all individually.
Let's say the whole organization is.
But we're not a conglomerate of jackasses. If that makes any sense. We're not out there to be dicks. We're not out there to do wrong. Our job, we have 3 fucking duties. All right. I'm going to put these in the fucking camera angle there, and apparently I'm going to twist my arm off. There are 3 duties to that. One of them is supervision. And when people are just like, fuck it, we don't care about the board, it kind of gets our hackles up just a little bit. Maybe you shouldn't say shit like that. And we
also got to think that's what a lot of people are saying now. I was going to say that's what a lot of people are saying in regards to trying to take that one test that all the COs and XOs need. They're basically trying to say and everything, but that's the thing.
Oh, no.
It's still part of the
they are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. I don't need to take this European jackass rule ass shit going on. Like, oh, fuck you, hillbilly. This is actual thing. The test is about Starfleet International data protection policy. If you don't know how to protect data under Starfleet International's protection policy, you don't deserve to be shit. CO, XO, Corporal Extraordinaire, fuck right off. Do not care. If you were elected to serve by the region, to serve in the super... Yeah, you're absolutely right, John Darrell. So again, it goes into those... There are 3 roles that you elect the RC to, and oddly enough, it's actually like 75 hats. Those 3 roles have a lot of play. But no, we're not going to get into when you're elected by the region to serve as supervisor. Yes, also John Darrell. Apparently Russell stalled. We're going to wait for Russ because he's running this shit, and I'm not running this shit. And there will be no time in this world that I accept responsibility for running this shit.
Oh, no.
So we're going to wait for Russ.
Like, all right, I'm going to head out.
Oh, no, we're going to wait for Russ.
Well, here's the thing. Since we're on the subject, at least, so Russell can stand out for a second on it. The issue with that other group, which I'll be the smart ass. No, it wasn't the one thing. Let's just call it that instead. But
it had many origin points. Let's just say
thing with it though is it was doing the one thing that's not allowed to do because this whole organization is supposed to be equal opportunity. Everybody's welcome, no matter what.
Absolutely.
And that was one thing that was going against it, in my opinion. Now I have no horse in this race on one way or the other on it. It's just my opinion on it when I heard about it afterwards. It's like, no, when you're discriminating against members to join in, that's where...
Most of the origin stories were not nefarious. I'll just go ahead and say that. Most of where this came from was actually for love of the org. Which again got back to no, we're not part of the org. Like, bullshit. Fuck off. Most of this was for the love of the org. Like it might have been misguided, but it was absolutely indicative of this specific organization, and that's where we have the issue. Like you can't play spook. Like you can go do that on your role play time. That's not what I want to interfere with.
But even with what they were kind of calling the group is what I heard. Again, I was never in it or anything like that. And nobody tells me I never get invited to the fun parties ever. So, but it's technically that organization is still a part of Starfleet no matter what, because it's in the original charter for Starfleet. So you're kind of going against what you're seeing on TV to begin with. So
I had a really hard time with. Yes, what you're saying is absolutely true. I had a hard time with like Section 31 is always the bad guy, right? Like, why should we invoke the bad guy as being part of ourselves? Like, that seems disingenuous to me. I mean, it's like we don't have a board chapter.
then everybody would be board chapters.
But yeah, so here we are. We're potentially going to have a Star Trek show that's going to focus on Section 31. Why don't we name the beast, right? And that becomes the devil we know. And I think that's absolutely probably important of naming that beast. It's ours. You can't claim that anymore. We got the term. You can't subvert it. And then make it into something that actually does its job. And I would hope that we find a really good job for it. We've got a couple ideas. I'm not going to pretend to know that all the stupid shit that falls into my head is great. Unfortunately, Russell has been saddled with most of this, and he fell off the internet. And that's really sad.
He's coming back.
Hey, he will come back, and he's going to be really pissed at me by the time he gets back. But he's the one who's been saddled with it. This is his Kobayashi Maru. We should support Russ because we know Russ is a good guy, and he's got a really sad place to dance. But I have faith in him. He's going to dance the right dance.
The safety dance.
We have like iconic. I saw Deep Space Nine, some shit, whatever. Joel, so Mirrors. I don't care about Mirrors. Paul Williams is not here. Russ says yes. Why aren't you here, Russ? Why am I carrying this?
He's rebooting. If you scroll up a little bit more on that. And that's the thing. It's like because keep in mind now everything that's happened so far. Because I remember it was just Starfleet for years. Then they added the Marines and medical, and then and everything.
That's a little bit disingenuous on your topic, but okay.
Let me get into it. I can see possibly whenever they do the new show, because remember they added the Makos within Starfleet. I can see them doing possibly a Section 31 that's more like the espionage stuff for it down the line, making it an official thing.
All right. So,
but again, you cannot discriminate from people who would join or not join them.
No. But let's discuss that a little bit because your timeline implied that things just happened. Like the Marines have been around for 30 plus years. That is not a whimsical amount of comment, right?
But they weren't around for the most of Fleet, though, is what I was meaning.
So we're all right. So what is Fleet? Fleet is 40 some odd years. They've been around 30 plus years. What's the math on that? They have been around for most.
Okay, I see your point with that, but
let's fast forward a little bit to exactly 2.5 years ago.
Was that the Mako part?
For the Mako part, right now they're trying to change their name back to Starfleet Special Forces.
I remember what it was that too. I actually remember that one.
Hang on, let me tell the story. So they're that's what they're about right now. They've had a couple things that the issue was for the Makos. They got incorporated into the handbook right after they became the Makos. They weren't the SFSO in any previous handbook. The Admiralty Board handles what goes in the fucking handbook. Garcia did play a little bit of dirty pool. I'm not going to say they didn't. That he's like, nope, I'm changing the name of this. They're going to like either shut up or fuck up. And they do it, otherwise they're gone, just like the chaplains, which was his due at the time. So they changed their fucking name. And now we're reiterating with what should their name be. There are a couple people that are like, no, Garcia made us change. We don't like it. And there are some people that are like, no, I like fucking Migo. It's canon. That's why I joined. Integrating the two is not a simplistic operation. That's what's faced before the board and the EC right now, and why they, at times, butt heads. But it's not out of an indifference to what's going on in what members are feeling.
Okay, I get that. I mean, I was
Like so
I was trying to go in one direction to try to say what could possibly happen down the line with adding different sections of the actual Starfleet itself. Whether people want to do something like more of the Starfleet intelligence type role like that I can see that becoming more canon down the line.
It's one of the, where do the members feel the most comfortable? Where the members feel the most acknowledged? And so on the AV side, for my side, like it's we codified the makeups that may or may not have been erroneous under Garcia's mechanisms. Let's just throw that out there. Like we'll understand there's the possibility of Garcia manipulating shit. Doesn't mean that's not where you have to go through to change it.
So
our job,
that was fun,
as the AV, is to represent the members as we understand them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make sure that what goes in the handbook and other policies represents that. And that's all. And right now we're having a little bit of frustration. And I think it's okay to admit that frustration between the EC and the AV. We need to improve our relations. It's stupid to say that that's not true. I'm going to go up for, I think it's my third or fourth term. We've always been under that guy. We're those relations need to improve.
To go back a little bit, what I was saying though is for me personally, as Jeremy pointed out, I've been hoodwinked. So
hoodwinked.
The people who were in this group who had been approached and talked to.
Wait, which group are you talking about specifically?
This is Section 31, as it was. It had a different name in the Facebook group, but it was Section 31. Okay. I'll put it this way to you. 30.5. Yeah. So the people who are vetted, they were given because I was one of the people that was approached. Were given a concept. And that concept was people who would observe and they would see things going wrong. They would see when a member was basically being otherwise ignored by people for work they're doing. They would see that, hey, this person over here is really got a lot of work on their shoulders and they're starting to fall behind. Maybe we can try to get them some help. Stuff like that. Not the stuff that's happened in the past with other regions, with people going on and doing all sorts of things and little practical jokes at summits and ICs. That wasn't the initial reason that these people were brought on.
So there was some historic angst on that.
Yes, and I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying, this is not what was there. What got them pinned was a specific person or people. I'm not sure exactly the particulars. That's for the AB and the IG and whoever to decide in the higher up chain of command. Took it upon themselves to take that concept, make a manual, and in the manual make it very sketchy. saying stuff like Jeremy says. Anybody can be in, except we have to invite them, and it can't be RCs, it can't be anybody in the EC.
Like
So
literally anyone in charge.
It can't be anybody who could cause the group to cease to exist. Okay. It may not have been sketchy. It's like when people run from the police. Not everybody who runs from the police necessarily is guilty, but it makes them look guilty as heck. It's the same type of thing. That said, the people involved in it, from what I know and what I've seen,
Excuse myself for just a moment.
They were told to complete academy courses. That's it. Complete some academy courses. There was quite a few of them. That's it. There was no like foul play afoot. There was no that I know of or have heard of from any of those members. Commander of Starfleet got with me and asked me how I would take a group of people from this group and try to develop them into a true auxiliary under the VCS that follows the membership handbook. So that's the point. Like, that's where Starfleet intelligence is coming from. The concept we're running with right now, it doesn't do what most people are probably immediately thinking. We don't research. Because I'll put it this way. People see Section 31 and they're like, oh, those are the people that look in at other people. No, that's actually an incorrect look at them, because Section 31 posed is internal affairs. That's internal affairs that does that. That's why that episode, they're investigating Bashir. They were saying they were internal affairs. So Section 31 would be the persons that were doing super secret squirrel against the Romulans and the Klingons and friends and allies, maybe even member worlds to a point. But for the most part, they were defending the Federation from threats. And they just had no oversight and no bounds of restriction. Intelligence is very similar in the canon, but they have oversight. They have restrictions of what they can and can't do. So, and again, Bob, that's why it is called Starfleet Intelligence and not something else, or and not Section 31, I should say. We're going on a concept of, and the VCS, from what I've heard so far, we've turned in a concept, but it has yet to be accepted. But we're taking on the mantle of recruitment and retention as a majority. So we want to do stuff like be a front face of the organization. So instead of intelligence being someone who's getting information on someone else, intelligence is we are getting information. We're learning about people who are potentially going to be coming into our group and giving them the information of what they're getting into, like all of the things that we have to offer as an organization, all the things that we do that are unique to our organization. That's kind of where we're going with it right now. That could change. I know that's really why I'm kind of going with it right now. If we are forced to change, there's a good chance I'm going to take a step out, because that recruitment and retention is something I do see as a problem the organization has. So
the organization, so that group you were talking about is pretty much going to work in the light instead of the shadow.
Yeah, because every person, this is the thing, I got put in that group that was there again because I had left it. I got put in there, and I asked the majority of the membership, basically. I asked everybody, but I didn't get replies from everybody immediately. I asked them, what did you join this group for? Basically, what do you want to be? What do you want the group to be? And I got pretty much a consensus view of what people wanted. They wanted an organization that would help get people and concepts to the right places in the organization to get problems and issues solved. You know, sometimes it's as simple as redirecting someone to the help desk. And then other times it might be this person over here has a really cool idea, but they're so new to the organization, they don't know who to go to. So we can take that and tell you to go here. here, go to your RC, talk with them. If you're Marine Corps, you need to talk to ForceCom or someone in ForceCom or someone in InfoCom because it's relating to their academy. There's a lot of points. How many times have we been on members only where you've seen somebody ask a question that is, if you took 5 minutes to look on the SFI website, you could probably answer it. I know I've seen them about 30, 40 times.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, that type of stuff, like anyone can answer it. That's why we're saying anyone can be a member of intelligence if they want to. That's a choice. Just like anybody can be a member of Starfleet, Marine Corps. Anybody can be a member of MACO. It's I think the only requirement we were going to think about making was you can join at any time, but in order to make it to a full agent, you had to take OTS and SFD or DPP, because again, if you're relaying information or you're dealing with new members coming in as a recruiting point or retention, you're going to be privy to private information. You need to know how to use it properly. Put it simply. People aren't going to be investigating things. There's no missions to go on in real world. It's ludicrous. We're a fan organization. We're not a police.
So
we're not an actual Starfleet.
I pitched the idea that I pitched to you there, Russ, to
yes.
a potential deputy, and he also hated it a lot.
Yes. Now, I will say I have written a proposal for the VCS on that one. I just need someone to head it, but it's not intelligence. Xenobiology.
Whatever. Actually, I think that's wrong. I think actually going back over and thinking about it, like putting my old CO cap on, not my RC cap on, like what information can I deliver to members that is useful to members? I think that one would have been really top in the charts. And yes, it's not intel. We're not spying on no one. But it's delivering intelligence that accentuates operations. And to me, and my military career, it's always been intel should inform operations.
Yes. And like I said when we had the conversation, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. I think it's something we can definitely use. The problem is
secret squirrel motherfuckers.
It's not even the secret. See, you keep throwing the secret squirrel crap. It's not secret squirrel. I can give you the spreadsheet. It shows what everybody said they wanted to do for this organization. And based on that, the amount of pushback I've had on this, if I was to release that with everything I've gotten, literally will make the people that have been pushing back on this look like the biggest course of jackasses in this organization that you've ever seen.
Make me look like a jackass, please. Throw it at me.
Because the whole point is all these people wanted to do was help the organization in a way that they felt wasn't being done. And I've talked to you on multiple occasions about stuff, and you've replied with the answer of, yeah, that's normal.
You're absolutely right. The getting shit past AB, and here
I'm not even just talking AB. I'm talking about
I'm gonna
chapter
COs. A lot of street cred right now. I have very often reported that AB is when you elect an RC, you're electing to two fucking very separate jobs.
Right.
It's very, very, very hard for them to be proficient at both. And I will admit that my own, I've sucked on the reading side. I feel I've excelled at the being a member of the board side. If that's where I was going to rack and stack my own proficiencies. But you have 18 members of the board that all have this varying scale of where they are on, do I run a region well, or am I a good member of the board? Not the same fucking job. and it's really, really hard to walk that line. And I think that is where a lot of the angst this organization lies, especially when we start talking about the integration of that with the officers of the corporation, which is in our organization, the EC. We don't get along with them well. We just fucking don't, and we should. The issue is we're at both ends of the spectrum. Like, we are like middle managers that should respond to the EC. And I feel that's where most EC, like, why aren't you doing what I told you to go fucking do? Like, well, about that. But coming back over the top, as a board, you supervise the whole thing. We can fire anyone. It's ridiculous. Like, there's a drastic difference of positions, of hats that we wear. And I don't think even the board is really, really good at separating those two well.
See, I will say, I'm not trying to break you up on there, but I will say you've done actually excellent at both levels, both region and fleet. And there's a number of regional coordinators I would say the exact same thing about, from my personal experiences with
very, very few.
Not only how they're dealing with their chapters in their region and programs in their region and such, and keeping their people, especially through COVID, keeping their people, trying their best to keep them together, keep them organized in some manner, keep them doing things. Whereas, and then they're also working on the fleet level with getting the resolutions passed that need to be passed and such. I'm not going to downplay all that, but I mean, I've heard complaints. I would say, in my coming back from March and being in AVS, I hear a lot of things. I hear more about problems at chapter level than I hear about anything else. People complaining about their chapters and stuff not happening on their chapter level.
So the issue is, and again, I kind of put the two form hat on there. Like, the RC position is weird. Like, we get to hear about those complaints, and they do fuck all about them, because we can bring that to ops, and then ops are like, well, what are you bitching at me about? You're either going to go above yourself and create a new policy about it, or you're not. So it's like we get to hear about it first, hand it to somebody the fuck else. They get pissed about it, and why isn't this one handling it?
Yeah,
and it's the same person, which is really a hard line to walk. If you're doing your job well. If you're doing your job poorly, then you just piss about it all the time. You're like, it's unachievable. Fuck off. No. It's a unique situation that we just have to, like, figure out, and we should be working with people at all levels at all times.
Yeah,
is
the right solution. But
go ahead, Tim.
Oh, Eric, just saying. Sorry, saw Eric in the group.
I
know. But my question though is, like, what's some of the complaints, like, people you're getting, like, you're hearing for about chapter level stuff?
I've heard everything from people saying that they're not being appreciated on the ship that they're on, and they want to leave the ship. They want to move to another ship, but their captain won't let them move. I've heard the same type of argument, and that the regional coordinator told them to stick it. I've heard issues that they don't feel that they're appreciated on their chapter. They don't receive promotions. I mean, it's the gamut, and not every single thing is going to be an immediate, like, oh, well, we have to get the operations department on it. And a lot of them, honestly, I would say in most cases, the people are having the problem, and really what it comes down to, they just haven't approached their freaking chapter present. They haven't, or at all in some cases. Like, I heard from one today where they literally said they're having this problem, and when I asked, they said, well, I haven't contacted the other person.
Well,
I talked to the person
It's a
before.
one-sided problem.
I had talked to the person who was in the position before, and they've shot me down.
So
Have you talked to the person who's in it now? Well, no, I don't. I haven't done it because I'm just going to get shot down. I'm like, it's a different person. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be happening that way. But I mean, I've heard stuff like that on both sides, and not all. And like I'm saying, not all of this is like, oh, well, Joe Schmo in unit whatever is having a problem. It means their captain, their RAC isn't doing their job. No, a lot of times it's just people don't understand the tools that they have at their disposal in the organization to use to solve little problems like that.
that's an excellent way of putting it, Russ. Thank you. One of the things we've tried to do in Region 3 is solve these issues with technology. And sometimes that doesn't work. Like, you can only throw technology at an issue so far where it's actually a people problem. I feel we've exasperated our issues here in Region 3 of we're maybe at the right balance or maybe a little over on one end. I don't know which one end of that is. But we've explored all those options. Like, it's one of those things. Tell me what you've done. Tell me what that meant. That's really all I give a shit about. And if I'm not willing to report that as your RC, and I'm not saying that I'm the only RC in the world, then they're probably wrong. And that's where you need to bring the issue up with. And that's a voting issue. The RCs are your representatives. If they're not representing you.
But for me, and with some of the people I've talked with in the burgeoning group of Starfleet intelligence, is what would happen if people, when they came into the organization, had a vested interest in understanding it, and they had an advocate that was literally helping them along the way to learn what options they had.
So I think you asked two separate questions there. One was, what if we had an advocate when we first joined the organization? Actually, I will just rephrase your whole question as exactly as you stated. Then it should be great, right? Everything should be fucking fantastic and flowers and you know, potpourri falls out of my asshole. It's not how it works.
I'm not saying that it does.
Database is crap. Our ability to engage people as they sign up is not what I wish it should be, to say the least. It used to be that we had a good time with the actually Linda Olson, because she's the one that had the materials at the time. Like, oh, these are the fuckers that signed up this week. She handed them forth to each and every region, and then we reach out to those people in contact. None of those things are true anymore. It's just like sad but true. But none of those things are true anymore.
I think from the lower part, looking up at you guys and everything, I think some of the biggest issues is we don't know how to communicate with people directly anymore. We want to point with it or whatever, but that also helps solve some of the problems, like what Russ was saying though too.
Sorry, Tim, where are you from? I don't know the context of our conversation, Tim. Where are you about?
Region 12.
12. I was 12.
I survived in this era, so you know I survived a lot of stuff.
I loved your last regional coordinator. I just voted for him again, by the way. He's I think, don't quote me on it, that's the CS's thing too, but I'm pretty sure he's about to be the JAG for the whole fucking org. Chris Boggs.
Okay. But that's the thing though, it's like talking about, it's like people don't know how to communicate with, like what Russ was saying, with the direct person, because with everything being more online now, there's just so much that people are like, afraid almost to reach out directly to people, just want to read stuff and ask general questions, and hopefully something gets done, and so they don't have to interact too much anymore.
Tim, I love you dearly. I'm about to say some bad words. Bullshit.
Oh, I've used a lot worse words on this show.
Everyone has felt that they were indicative of bitching up the chain for about 40 some odd years. And I'm only 30 some odd years old. Everyone has felt very inclined to just yak right up that goddamn pole like it's their goddamn job. And I'm not saying it's not. Like, express yourself. We're not. We can't pretend to be a member of a wide range of folks. We don't actually represent a wide range of folks. That's disingenuous. So absolutely feel free to express yourself to your RC. Your RC should be receptive. I've been drinking for a fucking hot minute. I just voted on Chris Box. I don't actually remember who your fucking RC is right now. But
Lindblom.
Who?
Shannon Lindblom.
Okay. I had no issue. Everyone. So, one of the cool things that I've encountered, and it's really, really, I don't think anyone gets to experience this. No one on the AV felt like fucking this organization ever. No one thought that would be a cool thing to go fucking do for a minute. No one thought it was like fucking fantastic. We were like, you know what? What we could do? We just boned this organization for a while. No one thought that. No matter who was appointed to the board, no matter who was applied, no one thought that was a cool fucking idea.
But most of what I was getting at, though, is not like, yeah, if I wanted to go to Shannon on stuff, yeah. But you should also go, like, first I go to my OIC first, and if nothing gets done there, I go straight to Captain Eric and everything, too. And then if it doesn't get resolved there, then I go up to the R12. But that's what people are
absolutely right. But I would just everyone take a breather and internalize onto themselves. Not everyone's good at every job that we are appointed. Like, one of the more amazing ones, and I can't believe I'm going to say this where I know it's being fucking recorded. James Herring, our current.
You're on your own there.
No, I know. I'm like, everyone abandoned me greatly. Apparently, the EC loves him, and the AV does not. What is it? So that's a whole lot of jobs that is in that particular billet. You can assign various levels of proficiency to. So I'm just saying, like, give everybody a little bit the devil's due when you're assigning, like, nah, I'd have done that fucking better. Like, well, you know half the fucking job. If you do the whole fucking job, then well shit, go fucking apply for it.
Yeah, outside of Fleet in general, just in my world of professional wrestling, I've had so many people say they can run a show. Hold on, let me get to this.
No. Did I hear that right? Professional wrestling?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to be sure. Yes, you're right. Oh,
yeah, I'm a manager, and I've actually been in the ring before. But I've heard so many people say that they could do a better job of running a show or doing a show and everything like that. And so many, it ends up being all talk because they can't do the job and don't realize how much work is into it. That's the same thing that would apply here. Is like so many people would say it, but if you gave them the job, they couldn't be able to do it. I can almost guarantee it.
You're absolutely correct. Most cannot perform.
It may look easy. You may think it's all telling this person to do that person to do that. Oh, there's a lot of work. And I know I don't even want to run a chapter.
As much shit as I might ever talk. And I'll go on the record for this right now. as much shit as I might ever talk toward the Vice Commander Starfleet, I know that I'm only helping him perform a third of his job. I know nothing about the other 2/3. So there's that. As much as angst that might have performed under alcohol, I get it. That's a really big job. I actually think the VCS job is other than figureheading issues, which is significant. No one mistake that the amount of horseshit that the CS goes through. Every CS that I've known last, I don't know, 8 years has undergone death threats.
Yeah.
So take that with what you may on what you think is your job qualifications.
And that's the thing is like
I've never had to go to death threats on my job.
I may joke with Steve about this, but I understand why he would never want to run a second term because of all the bullshit that he's gone through.
He's not allowed to right now.
Well, he still has 2 more years left on this term though first, right?
He does.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying though is even if he wanted
Unless
to,
I'm a
after somebody else ran and had it, he wouldn't want to again because of just how much is taken away from him and how much bullshit he's had to wade through knee-high boots and is up to his neck, so.
But also, Tim, he can't.
Well,
not true.
After the next term.
Yeah.
I meant after that.
He paid me a lot of money and I already write it. It's cool.
Yeah. As it stands currently in the membership,
as it stands currently,
can't have consecutive terms of CS.
What I actually right now, if we're addressing Starfleet, what the fuck was the reasoning on that one?
I have no idea.
I mean, that's a really, really stringent rule. Like, I'm okay with, like, in my politics, term limits, but good God. Like, you can't exist for 6 years?
My guess is if we look it back, if we were to go back through the revisions of the membership handbook, it probably goes to a year of either, like, Reagan was president or George W. was president. Or
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has to do with.
And they just like, no, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't allow it.
No, I think this was personal. I think it was angsty because that is how Starfleet's policies have been crafted. As I read them, they have been very specific and purposeful.
I think, in my opinion, it was to prevent long-term damage if you have the short burst and not, twice in a row. If there's any damage done by a commander Starfleet, because we've had so many of them. Like I always joke about.
But here's the issue: if you get the electorate vote, like there's so few times that Starfleet gets to actually vote, like as a membership. The CS elections is it.
Yep.
Are you telling me you can't elect him twice?
But damage if something was going wrong.
If it was going wrong, you wouldn't get the electorate vote, right?
Yeah, but
not if it's not being known.
But that's the point, though. A secret can't be kept in this organization for what? More than a couple weeks?
So about 47 seconds.
Yeah.
So as Brand says, because CS would burn out in 4 years. Should we encounter the hardcore motherfucker that exists that stands that test of time, I would love to entertain that theory.
Actually, Brand had a good comment.
And I think that any CS that's ever existed in the last 6 years doesn't want to be part of it either. But as I read our rules, it seems a very odd requirement.
Russell, can you answer Eric's question there too? I don't remember it off.
What are the requirements for?
Yeah, either me or Jeremy can. It's not hard. Must be an active member, or it means membership for 3 consecutive years. be able to be bonded.
And not being CS for a previous 6 months or more.
There's another one, I believe, but it's kind of unclear. It's not in the actual, but it says it later, kind of, if I recall. Cannot be part of an active IG investigation.
Right. So,
yeah.
There's a lot of shit that we really just need to fix.
Yeah. Which, you know, the IG investigation was because of McGinnis back in the day, so...
No, but no, all of these things were, like, imposed with, like, the greatest of intent. But they just got left there with Band-Aids sticking on to the limb. We've had no idea of what we should do with ourselves with shit as written, versus what we can interpret from that as a good policy. Like, all this just needs to get, like, fucking redone. Like, it's been so modgepodge. Like, our current documentation, which has been explained to us by the lawyers, has been, well, this is shit, but it's better shit than most. It's been, this is Frankenstein's monster. We're like,
But at the same point, a lawyer would say the same thing about the U.S.
As far as organizations go, this is like not the worst shit I've ever read in my life. Like, I don't know how we read this. Like, well, as you will.
But yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, though, I'm not trying to say that nothing's being done. I'm just saying there are people out there that want to help. Some have tried to obtain positions to get to that help, and they either were looked over or the position was never given at all in some cases. Some cases they said they don't need a position for that or whatever, what have you. But there are people in the organization that want to help other members. And I feel giving them some sort of organization to that is not negative. And saying that there's a problem and because it hasn't been fixed in the past doesn't mean it couldn't be fixed in the present. And it's not like it's costing anybody anything.
Right. So there we go. As we try to move forward, we try to do our best organizationally. And we'll get it or we won't. There's some give and take. But that's on the organization of the membership to figure out. People who want to like, I'm going to sue you because I don't fucking like you. Turns out, I don't fucking need you in my organization. If you're going to threaten this organization, you're wrong. Because Starfleet is the longest interacting fan club there is. It's the most existing. Like, it's endured the trials. Ain't done it pretty. I ain't gonna pretend that it did. But here we are. And if you're trying to end it, well then fuck you.
I agree with that statement wholeheartedly.
Get the fuck out of my group. I'll go end you later. Not worth my time.
But you're talking about like somebody saying they can do a better job and all that. Look how many times that was.
Well, I'm telling you about people that are like, I will end you with a threat of a legal ordinance. They will threaten something. This has been catastrophic on many a time. If you're like, no, I'll sue you. You know what? Go for it. I feel very confident in Starfleet stance right now. You go ahead and do it.
I agree with Mike on that 100%.
Yeah.
You know what? Mike Watkins, I would like to reiterate the thoughts and feelings of Region 2. He has long spouted that. As a point of conversation, like exactly those exact words. If you ain't with Starfleet, why are you against it? Fuck off, get out.
Yeah, it's not like there's a pot of gold that you win, and there's not any tether holding you here. If you do not like something, you have the chance to leave.
I'm the asshole. I will rule warriors into the ground, and will have a certain amount of glee doing so. Ryan, my Region 2 counterpart, is the heart and soul, I feel, of Starfleet. It's like, we don't need to do this. If you're suing Starfleet, get the fuck out. It's just like, he's very simplistic about it. Like, get the fuck out. We don't have this argument. Be gone. I think Ryan's actually better about it.
Maybe a little.
All right. Last call. Is that what we're calling? No, I read it.
I didn't put it up yet. Sorry. That's the thing. It's like we were talking about, like, people think they could do a better job and this and that. It's like, how many people have tried? Look at what happened with, we had UFPI, we had Starfleet Command, we had SMI, and they're all gone because they ended up not being able to do a way better job than what they thought they could.
No,
so that's the thing. Like, and we have the history with this now. So
I'm an election year right now for my region. I know it's coming. These are the things that are going to happen. If you think you can do better, bring it to me. If I can't do better, I'll step the fuck off. You can run. But the amount of effort that this particular board has taken, the amount of angst that they have suffered, is really, really chilling. And I would say about the last 6 years. Maybe we need to get off our horse on that one. Maybe we've expired that bit, but holy shit. The board has not been bored by any means in trying to protect members' issues. No, fuck you, Tim. You should burn him alive.
I don't know. That's a good sentiment, though.
I don't know. I'm gonna run for RC again, but no, the board. I've never been more proud to be a part of an orientation. Let me put it this way. This board has been very, very articulate. Not every single member has been the most engaged, but as a whole, this is the members' needs and what we need to do. And they're pretty good about it. And I don't know why the CS hasn't been fucking here today. It's weird.
Migraine.
I don't think he survived the show tonight. And then if something happens to the CS, who would take charge of that after that?
The VCS.
Who is who?
James Herring.
James Herring.
Now, do you want him to be in charge right now?
He didn't pause. No, he didn't.
I don't know. He froze like physically.
I'm surprised they didn't get Whitaker Eye. That's what I would have expected. But like, I've had dealings with the VCS now with this whole Intel thing, and I will say that I have had a very pleasant experience with the VCS. I've also had one where I was kind of at odds with the VCS somewhat. So I've had a little bit of both, but I think, like many people, he is very strong and adamant about what he feels is best for the organization. And that doesn't always ring true with everybody. Nobody's going to have the same opinion on the same subject, generally.
That's a very fair way to put it.
And there will be times in trials where, people are completely opposed and, one's going east-west, one's going north-south. It happens. but I think that he has the best interests in heart for the organization. Just as I do think that is true of most everyone in this organization.
If I might, to follow up on Russ, if I might close, there are no one that I've known in this organization that has been that like twirly mustache villain. Like, I'm going to end it all. Those are just gonna fuck it over for fucking over's sake. No one has felt that. If anything that exists in STARFLEET, there are people that have very strong opinions about how it should go, but maybe not how everyone else should go. But no one was out there like, I'm going to ruin STARFLEET today. No one has said that in any of my experience, that we're going to like fuck STARFLEET right over right now. It's not anyone's objective. Everyone starts out with the best intent in mind. And I think we all need to keep that in mind as we consider all things in all volunteer organizations.
And for the record, also, I have no problems with the BCS whatsoever. I have no opinion one way or the other. And I just was seeing what you all would have said, what would happen if Steve couldn't.
I am shocked my phone's not ringing right now.
I think if Steve decided he wasn't going to be the BCS, I think James might be the first one to say, "Oh crap," like, because you got to think, when you really get down to brass tacks of it, if they're the VCS, that means they pretty much considered CS, and they're probably like, "Nah, maybe not." Nah.
Because you don't have to
yes,
anymore.
VCS is an enormous job.
Yes, but it doesn't put the ginormous target of the membership on your back.
It doesn't, but it puts the workload.
Yes. And I think that's the point. Like some people want the workload, but they don't want the people constantly nitpicking every time they put their sock on wrong, you know?
Shift your sock. Fuck off. Jeremy, I think we quickly listen to you if you weren't obviously feeling. Yeah, Eric, I drink. Good job.
I would say, just from a person who's been in this organization off and on over the course of the last 20-something years, just like Jeremy, the majority of people in this organization do partake in that particular vice. Some far more heavily. So
I've actually sold this shit as better than this is a drinking organization with a Star Trek problem. I sold that in
actually heard that quite
bars.
Too.
I sold that in So
yeah.
Eric Burnett, you're absolutely right. Maybe I shouldn't be a raging alcoholic on screen. Cool.
You don't want to do that. Alcoholics go
Whatever.
to
But at the same point, this is
You're not wrong.
We talk about stuff, but it's not an AMA. It's a group of people talking, and we're trying to talk with you guys too. And that's it. Like, it's just a talk. That's it.
It's always been unofficial to begin with, or I wouldn't be on this thing to begin. With all this stuff, like
this one
like that, like the email address we never put up yet. And...
No. Eric's got some shit. And
Eric knows.
John's got some shit too. Here, this should have been the CS shit. Fuck off. Jim, whatever the fuck your name is. No. But yeah, okay, you all expected some shit. They invited me anyway, so sorry.
But I will say this, Eric. I agree. I'm stone sober. I definitely agree with the majority of what Jeremy has said, what Tim has said here is there's no one out there that's like you said, twirling his mustache. How am I going to destroy Starfleet today? No one's thinking that. Everyone comes into it with the best of intentions. I think what it comes down to is sometimes best intentions go a little too far. Sometimes things get a little too overthought, and sometimes, in the case of what this whole 31 thing is, I think people just got their mind wrapped around too much of the what's on the show and not what they could have done. And I think that really more than anything, like, we don't need a clandestine whatever organization. Like,
I think it was like we all had great intentions. I had felt in my own research, there's about 6 origin stories of the Section 31. Most of them were good.
But we all can agree on one thing, that we all need Dabo girls.
Yes, we all need other girls. Okay, but like, none of us were like, "That shit, you shouldn't do it." Like the most angsty of the commissioners was like, "You're trying to take over an RC's job."
Kind of like Mike's comment.
If your RC's not doing a great job, then I'm not going to speak about that. That's not my job to do. But maybe consider that. I don't know. Section 3.14. No. Actually, my anniversary. Please not make this more complicated to my brain than is necessary. Thanks. Enough. I'm gonna take
Jeremy, hold on.
Turn it over to everybody else.
Mike, here's one thing though with section 3.11 or 3.14, sorry, that Jeremy can't get past the point first right now. Wait till the next morning, then he might be able to understand it.
I was about to say section 31 or 3.11. Is that the one that comes with networking?
You notice what I did on that. I put 3.11 that starts out in 95.
I'm reading you, brother. I'm reading you. Let me get to March. We're good.
Section NT.
Oh, get out, Russell. Section OS2.
No one is
/2.
Right? If we're here, if we're expending our time,
right?
No one hates Starfleet. That's not what we're doing here.
Right. Something that has to do with the exchange of information between chapters. Wait, what? Oh, so he's talking about what something it had. I mean, that's what the comms department does, though.
Watch it, Linux.
Extension Linux.
My brother right there. I don't know who Mike Watkins is, but he's my favorite BFF ever.
Honestly, I would put on Section Linux. Just think about it. Section, does that mean it's a non-monolithic?
It is a Linux box.
Well, I was gonna say Section Linux. Does that mean it's a non-monolithic or non-monolithic kernel?
Yeah.
Finally,
like
the promise we were given, like back in 1999.
Kevin. No, we will. You're trying to equate Linux to the Starfleet bit. Yeah, that's rough. But I would love to do it. Things rough sell, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I was saying, for the most part, SFI is pretty much an open source organization. I mean, you get what you put in. Like we're compiling a kernel.
I've been so torn. Like on mid 21 this week. I mean, that's where I lie.
And it crashes once every 3 years.
What? No, I didn't hear that.
Oh, I had a Linux box that if it was still alive, the hardware died before the software crashed.
This is a fantastic.
You tell that to Mrs. Commander Starfleet about the hardware not working.
No, my box works really great. I already know what you're talking about.
Mine stalled because apparently I forgot I had started a render and it was processing and then it just ate up all my system resource on my memory. So yeah, I had a memory stall. That was fun. And then it rebooted. It took forever to clear the the whatever cache that it has.
Mike, no, not open source. This is open source tonight, right now. So
LXD. Yeah, I'm still on Windows 10.
oh, wrong way.
Or whatever they want to call it now. I don't know. They keep changing this stupid number. I swear, Windows numbering is like a Rambo movie.
A little bit, right? Yeah, it's looking at my end.
So I don't even know anymore. It was easy. The numbers just went up, and then now they just started jumping all over the place. Open sourced.
You know, sauce.
It's that mid or that, like, what do you call those states? Not Western states. Wyoming, Colorado.
The flyover states. Is that what you were looking for? You're looking.
I don't know. They have another name too. They have another name.
States?
Flyover states. That's the shenanigans you were looking for.
I was like, is that a flyover states joke? I don't
Yep.
understand.
It was a joke. There's a country song about it.
I don't know country songs. I live in Texas. I'm a terrible Texan. I hate country. Unless it's like true country, like you know, like
Whoa. What's true country?
like old school, like produced before like 1990. Like when Garth Brooks came into it, that's when it went downhill. Mountain States, that's the one I was thinking
I don't know
of.
what's happened.
Mountain States, that was the one I was thinking of.
The Mountain States. Okay.
Hey,
So
Mike, we'll talk about this on Sunday with the Region 12 thing too. So
all I heard was that Tim's running for fucking VCS.
Do you really run for VCS though?
Oh, wait. Apparently, he could write. How fast could he write "fuck you" on a card?
Just that fast.
look how many I got. I'm good.
Oh no! Oh. like on space here. Oh, this is adorable.
I lost where I'm at now. I got
I'm out of cards. Got it.
There we go. Okay. Oh, I finally got one on target. There we go.
And if anybody has complaints about this, I could give out this phone number, but I won't. But you know,
Yeah, don't give out that number.
No.
not tonight. I'll give it out next week.
No.
I will say Commander has released that in the past, but he hasn't done it in a very long time. So publicly, remember, this does go on like YouTube and such. We don't need him getting spam calls, because I will say sooner or later they're gonna develop the bot that can like sap that stuff out of video. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I've never embarrassed anybody yet on here, except for myself. So
No. Let's just throw credence where it is due. He does a good job.
I think for the most part in the fleet, everyone does a good job.
He's actually never been one to not own his shit.
who we
And I
talking
think
about?
especially in this particular environment, that's becomes the hair to split. He's always owned his shit. He started it. He's encouraged this online activity.
Yeah. I will say you were a part of it too, though.
I'm not gonna say I wasn't, but I wasn't CS. This was my vision. This was not where I decided that the hill I was going to die on. He did, and he did it well. And here we are. He couldn't make it. It's sad and unfortunate. Fuck off, Jeff.
I'm gonna laugh when the day comes because there will be a day, I think, when Jeremy Carsten will run for CS.
No, Jeremy will run.
Will it be the next term? Who knows? But I'm just saying there will be a day.
Jeremy will run for VCS, and you can all fuck off. I know where my talents lie. That doesn't mean edit your shit, Tim. Fuck off.
No, I actually do not want that job.
No,
That's the one I do not want of all the jobs.
no. He's done good.
Because the problem with that job is if I take that job, I got to take off hats, and I'm not very good at taking off hats.
You know, we haven't had one question tonight about the database.
Fuck off.
That's distinto there.
I think because they know what happens when that question gets asked.
Wait,
I'm waiting for. I got the answer. With somebody to ask it. Anybody?
apparently, let me reiterate what was stated last night when we did our chapter meeting. It's like, or no, I'm sorry, my regional meeting. Like, we didn't ask this yet. Oh, goddamn. Apparently, it was the most.
See, I told him
over the things. Oh, goddamn it! Was express all the things that need to be said.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming. Just give the person some time. He's not getting paid,
We're
man.
trying to make a thing happen between multiple organizations that don't necessarily like each other. Go.
Well, I was just gonna make a point is search for database software for membership.
They straight up told us to go pound fucking sand for money, and we said, "I'm sorry, you're."
No, and I know it's always.
That's not what the contract states. You, sir, can go pound sand. So it's a conversation about who can pound more sand.
Oh no, you're talking about that. I was talking about when people say why is it taking so long? I'm like,
no, this was why it was taking so fucking long.
Yeah,
they told us to go fuck off, and we're like, you can fuck off harder. And it turns out that legally they could indeed fuck off harder.
Anybody that complains about it, ask them if they ever designed a website first, and then once they did that, then ask them if they've ever designed something to incorporate information for more than 5,000 users that has to be edited daily whenever it needs to be.
Right. So none of this is simplistic.
No, not a bit of it.
Do we have any information on the challenge coin contest, Russell?
Wait, which one?
That one I have no idea on. That's not my purview.
Okay.
I stepped out of that one because I was in the Combadge one, and we all know what happened there. So I was like, no, I'm stepping out of that one. So
speaking of the Combadges, I know this was asked way early before we got off the topic. Where did you get yours done at again that you're wearing?
The studio was what we did. We designed them as a chapter, and then we had them made. They're for our chapter.
Studio.
Yeah, thestudio.com, I believe.
Like stuff. Turns out they're apparently in perpetually a 50% discount, which is fantastic. Because it makes them very price point involved in anything we might ever do. Including our meeting tonight, we were like, we should just reorder another order of shit more.
I will say the other thing is Jeremy pointed out last time on one of our meetings is apparently the sales team is not in contact with the engineers that make the dice.
Oh yeah, they hate each other. I'm pretty sure.
So sales will say, yeah, here you go. This is this much money, and then the engineers see it and they're like, are you kidding me? Like, what did you do to me?
Yeah, I don't think they talk to each other at all.
Yeah. Because ours was not easy. Like they had to actually, the original design we gave them, they had to like change it because they said metal couldn't have metal change without a little black line. But actually, the black line makes them look better, I think. Like
I just called them on their shit a couple times. Wasn't that fucking hard?
Well, I remember you kept telling them about the cutout, and then they just kept refilling it in or something.
Like no, back at you. And it turns out it came out with a really great pen.
The other thing is, it didn't take very long. Like,
no, like the interactions were days.
Yeah,
very much days, not weeks.
Because I think we ordered them and we got it within less than 2 months during COVID.
I would say 3 months, but yeah, COVID.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Like
that
beginning to finish, I think it was a quarter, but I think it was a COVID quarter.
Maybe. Yeah, I know it took for a while for us to get them. I know it took a while for us to get them from you because of COVID. Like I think it took a month, pretty much.
Yes. No, but by the time that we got delivered, that was a whole different ordinance of logistics. That was we're trying to make people like real humans send things to people.
All while avoiding the fact of the mail sucks and now.
She loves the mail. Like our logistics officer loves the mail, and it turned out that there was some folks that we really love the mail. The U.S. mail, please use the U.S. mail more on both the region side and the brigade side. They were just adamant about please use the U.S. mail system. Like, no, dude, I want my shit to get there. I don't give a fuck. It's not the hill I want to die on. But she did. So she used U.S. mail. So again.
So how's things up there with you, John?
Quiet.
He's like, no one around right now because they're all sleeping. So what time is it there, John?
5:36
in the morning. God.
I remember when I used to be able to do that, then I got older, and somehow I guess it goes back to where you can do it again.
He's got the Benjamin Button disease. He ages backwards. John Hardy's only 22.
I wish.
He's an orphan. That's what it is.
An orphan.
Took a little bit there, Russ, did it?
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I'm like an orphan. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's been a while.
John, where are you exactly at again?
I'm going to say Essex. UK.
Close. I mean, you're not too far from Essex.
I'm in Essex.
Huh?
I'm in Essex.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You're not too far from Essex. Yeah, we went over this. Like, you live like within, I think it's like 60 miles of my like family's ancestral lands. Like, it's pretty lousy. Like,
This place is there where I live. I call it Chalice 4.
But yeah, I think we're at an hour and 40 minutes, give or take.
And 40 of that was waiting for you to get back on, Russell.
I know, right? My computer was molasses this time. I need to go through and figure out why. It must have had
I went for a CS to barge his way through.
Wait, what?
No, seriously. Where's the yes?
I'm really calling it, Russ.
This is a game, right? We're just like waiting for him to barge his way through.
Where's John at?
No, not John.
John answered that.
We know where John.
Yeah, I mean,
In
England.
Essex.
Yeah, England. Best way England. There's quite a few Essex in America, so I say England. Region 20.
He's pretty much where they got all the good TV shows at.
Not wrong.
Red Dwarf, Doctor Who. I mean,
Not,
Oh, no, I'm not fond of Red Dwarf.
correct.
you're not fond of. Okay, hold on. Where's?
I'm not. I love Blake 7 though. Blake 7's
Yeah.
good.
Black Adler?
Like so.
Mm.
Black Adder is the best show ever made.
Are you being served?
It was all right.
Benny Hill.
Towers.
Benny Hill's okay.
Benny Hill showed boobs, so that's where that's good.
I guess. I don't know. I was a Monty Python fan more than Benny Hill.
Okay, I'll give you that. You redeemed yourself, Russell.
Like Benny Hill is funny, but his was like situational funny. Like it almost like you had to be in the right mood for it to be funny sometimes.
Yes.
But like Monty Python was just bloody hilarious, and it made no sense why it was.
Plus, we got the obvious Mr. Bean.
See, Blackadder spoiled me. I actually like Rowan Atkinson speaking jokes.
Hugh Laurie. Yeah, Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
A thing.
Well,
And Hugh Laurie.
Bean.
Good Lord.
I was spoiled with Bean, but I love like Johnny English and everything in those movies. I really love those.
Yeah. Pussy, you look as though
So
a
you're
bird
like,
had
if
swallowed
you
a plate.
put Hugh Laurie into like your like music shit, it gets weird. Like it's no longer about Black Adler. Like that dude really loves blues, and he's not that good at it. He's like a little bit good at it, not super good at being
I
a
love Donnie's
bluesy
comment.
artist. And he's like, "Oh, this is it. This is what we're doing for the rest of ever." I'm like, "Oh, god damn it!" And inevitably, that's between my experience between like DFW and Austin, and I want to murder most of Texas. Like, that's my angst.
Getting ready to play poker when we get off of here in a little bit.
VR poker?
Yeah.
I say shit about poker.
You can actually grab stuff. You can throw stuff at the other players. That's
Oh,
relaxing.
okay. This is our type of poker, Jeremy.
You
You can start bar brawls in the poker room.
No, seriously, in the game, you can actually buy like beer bottles, like to drink first. You can actually open them, drink them, and then you can smash them on people. They don't cause blood. You can also smoke cigars in the game and everything, and communicate with the other players. There, it's actually kind of fun, relaxing.
Wait. If I bash a bottle over your head, do you like suffer consequences?
No,
I don't care anymore.
just trust me.
See, I was like hoping you could incite a riot in the poker room. like,
No, but there is
Like
a barroom brawl. There is a barroom brawl VR game.
the one I always wanted to see become VR was Gary's mod, so that I could play Trouble in Terrorist Town in VR, but that never came, which was unfortunate. That would have been an awesome game.
I've already hurt myself playing VR doing Beat Saber, so
I've heard about that before with people like playing Beat Saber, and
I can't keep a beat to save my life, so there's no tuna fish that I save in this bucket.
well, there's a guy that he had his Oculus controllers like put onto. He zip tied them to lightsabers with the polycarbs, with the polycarb blades, and he was doing it in his living room. And he ended up like breaking a ceiling fan. Ceiling fan fell on him, knocked him out cold. I'm like, good God.
Yes, that would have been me. Yes.
I was like,
so I got like the Walking Dead game, and I keep getting killed in it though too. But I've actually like smacked myself in the face while trying to stab the zombies in it. It's like, oh, what the hell? It's like this game fights back.
I always thought it would have been cool if they actually, because I remember back in the days when the movie Lawnmower Man came out, and everybody was talking about VR and all that stuff. And I remember that. You remember the ball treadmill that they had like designed for VR for a while, that you'd wear the humongous goggles on, and then you would like run in like a half ball.
Yeah.
I was always waiting for that to be like, yeah, you can buy this ball thing so you can actually run in VR. And I'm just like, yeah, they're going to make it where you don't even have to go outside one day. Just go in your house and go to work on VR.
In other words,
And now
Ready
it's
Player
happening.
One, if you've seen the movie already yet.
What's that?
Ready Player One, if you haven't seen the movie, it pretty much does that.
Yeah. There's another one too that had like Bruce Willis where like people like jumped into fake bodies and stuff.
The surrogates.
Surrogates.
Creepy.
Yeah, it was
Super creepy.
spooky vision or thing. But yeah, like it's definitely been on the radar, something that could happen. And now it kind of does, but it's always like the half-ass version is the one we get, so we get Zoom. We don't get fake bodies, so we can just sit in a tube and
We are in fact sci-fi fans. We have to actually organize ourselves along realistic lines. And no, we can't organize ourselves around the most ridiculous. It's got to be actual words, actual things that make sense.
Okay, you yawn. It's time to go.
It is. It was one of those times like when you get too silly, it's wrong.
What? I've been doing that for the last couple of months on this show, being too silly.
No. When you get actually too silly, you're like you exceeded the expectation and you're done.
yeah. All right. Well, tonight we were joined by Brigadier General Jeremy Carsten, from the regional coordinator of Region 3, and
Say my name. It's cool.
I keep doing it because I played Warhammer for way too long. Carsten.
Had nothing to do with Warhammer, for the record.
What? Carsten?
I did not have anything to do with Warhammer.
No, you didn't. There's a character on there called Carsten.
Not my fault.
I know. Joined by Brigadier General Jeremy Carsten, Regional Coordinator, Region 3, Chief Engineer of USS Battleborn. We have Fleet Captain John Hardy of the USS Essex in Region 20.
Vampire extraordinaire.
Colonel Tim Johns of the USS Dauntless.
Omiak. What?
Oh, sorry.
I told you that.
Omiak, yes. It's late. I haven't slept in over 24 hours now. So, of the Omiak.
Place card holder extraordinaire.
Earlier,
John Hardy about sleep.
Earlier, before he disconnected, we had Lieutenant Commander Gregg Kleiner of the USS Dauntless.
We did.
And unfortunately, no commander today because, again, he was having some brain migraines and wasn't feeling too well and has a sick state. How's the pro feel?
It happens.
Well, I mean, hopefully
I know what
not.
It should happen. Like, literally, shit does happen.
Well, when it happens, he won't have the probe anymore, which will be good. So,
you would think.
You never know. They might have got it up in that ledge or whatever. But anyway, have a good night, folks. And as always, live long and prosper. Let's see.